r/AskReddit asks, people that live in Australia, how much are the fires affecting you? I live in New Zealand, not Australia, but I still wake up and the sky is orange from the fires in Australia. I reckon we should loan them Jacinda for a few months. Not my town specifically. Although we have had a lot of smoke quality compared to 20 cigarettes. Relatives evacuated. And one of the early deaths to be confirmed was a family friend. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm in Gippsland, so it's bad here. Everyone knows someone who has been evacuated, lost their home, lost animals, etc. It's a really somber atmosphere made worse by the complete idiots running our government and their response. It feels like the only ones who will help us are our own countrymen and thankfully people from overseas. To everyone on here that donated, thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means, so know there are people out there who want to help. I've heard volunteers are needing therapy because of hearing all the animals screaming as they die. I can't tell you how many times I've called my mom to make sure she's still alive. She is a rural firefighter. Edit. Because a few people have asked. Yes, my mom is a volunteer. She would want donations. She doesn't even want recognition. Where you'd put your money is on you. Believe in climate change. Believe in people. Be respectful. That's all she would want. Your mom's amazing. Be sure to thank her for me for the amazing work she does. I hope she and your family stay safe during this horrible time. A shitload of smoke. Haven't been able to leave the house with my kids or run my aircon because it's not safe. Aircon is old and filter is shit. The couple of times I have needed to leave the house, driving is dangerous because visibility is insanely low. One of my friends has had to leave due to the smoke and another is about to. One's pregnant, the other is asthmatic. My auntie's house may or may not have gone. They still haven't been able to get to it, and a house I used to go to on family holidays has been confirmed to be ash. In all honesty, it's still early in the season. We have a couple of months of this to go yet. Get reusable P2 masks, if you haven't already. Me and mine have, and they help a lot. I've also downloaded an air quality app called Air Visual, and that helps a lot with figuring out when it's safe. I hope you and yours are safe. My hometown burned down last week. It was terrifying seeing the pictures in the news and not knowing if my family home or my mom's grave would still be there. Luckily the fire missed them by about 1 kilometer, but it's still burning and not yet under control. I live in the city now, so I've just been dealing with the hazardous air quality and near yellow sky for the past few months. That's nothing compared to the people back home. I'm so glad your mom's grave is okay. I live in Canberra. It's the city that had the air quality that was like 10 times worse than New Delhi or something like that. Definitely sucked, but we were only number 1 in the world because the towns nearby that are right in it aren't counted on that list. They have it much worse by far. This was meant to be my summer of heading down the coast, but I haven't been able to go. That's so minor compared to the people who actually live on the south coast of NSW that it seems silly to type it. Most Aussies are basically fine. But this feels like the worst fire season across the board that I remember in my life, in terms of scope. I'm not sure about damage fatalities. Over Christmas was staying down near the fires. It was pretty intense. People were being evacuated too near where we were staying, so we were fairly safe, but it was still unsettling, very dark and smoky and orange some days. Not long after we went home, we had family members having to watch for embers down there, so that was concerning. Prior to Christmas was just lots of smoke and whole weeks of lightless red sun. My physio had 2 of her children lose their whole farms and livelihoods, and family knew people who had the same, worryingly close to areas I frequent in holiday periods. Towns I have been to as a kid are just gone, It's pretty horrifying. Parents are due to go away in a week and they're waiting to see if their holiday house is still standing. It was smoky one morning, but that's about it. It's been raining quite a bit this week in my area of SA. Not to take away from how devastating the fires are at all and the immense loss of those affected. Australia is nearly the same size as the US, excluding Alaska, which I think people don't realize. I'm just here visiting for a while, but when someone compared Oz to the US, I was mind blown. Where the major blazes in NSW and East VIC are to me would be like North and South Carolina to Texas for comparison. Woke up coughing with stinging eyes because smoke is covering my city. It's stressful and depressing. I'm not in a fire zone, but I'm hearing about them, seeing images everywhere, knowing the country is burning and it could very easily burn where I live and I will have to run. My sister called me screaming and crying because she had ducked out to the shops, and while she was gone the wind picked up embers from further away and started a blaze. The road home was shut down and she was terrified that she would lose her pets and new home. She managed to go the long way round, pack up what little she could get and get out. She and her house are safe now thanks to the tireless efforts of the volunteers, but I'll never forget the fear in her voice. She was one of the very lucky ones. I am currently 2 kilometers away from a fire. It is controlled, which is great for everyone in the area, but it is still affecting the air quality quite a lot. I know there is a massive one 7 kilometers away, which is the main problem. It's only significantly affected me a few times. I went to school a few weeks ago and the halls were full of smoke. Everyone got sent home, but majority of people didn't come in the first place. Last night I woke up and came downstairs to my sister because of the strong smell of smoke, and she said, "It smells like a bonfire." There have been many other similar situations, but they are all to do with the air quality. For me, the fires have just been a big irritation. I do know lots of people who have been in dangerous situations because of it though, mainly trying to protect their farms and families' homes. Not due to the fires, but the drought that led to these fires caused the company I previously worked for to shut down. That is the other thing. No one is discussing the unending drought we are currently experiencing. Queensland is bone dry and towns have run out of water. Food is scarce. They've hiked up the prices a lot. $5 for a loaf of bread. Our water's been off for about a week now. If you can donate anything, please donate food and water to people. I'm lucky I bought a crap load of bottled water. Haven't bathed since they shut our water off and it sucks. I live in a major city and don't have a home, so not at all really. It's just frustrating how incompetent the government has been at dealing with it. The conservative government is deep in the pocket of big mining, especially coal. They are filled with various shades of climate denial. They seem to want to just do as little as possible and hope this passes. They seem to see it foremost as a political problem for them, rather than a real and genuine national emergency. Also, they are desperately throwing blame at Greens, arsonists, and pushing along the under-the-surface conspiracy theory that somehow the fires were started by climate activists or greenies. You see, it's all part of some big plan to something and capitalism something worldwide Marxism. I live in the Adelaide Hills and had to evacuate for about a week just before Christmas due to the fires. Luckily they went away from us, no so lucky for the towns in that direction. Had to evacuate twice more since due to other fires flaring up, so mostly just an inconvenience for me, my family compared to those in the towns hit here or the poor bastards over on KI or in Vic and NSW. I've noticed my local grocery store is low on bread and their prices for some foods are higher than usual. It's pretty alright in Melbourne. We've had a few smoky days but nothing like what a lot of the rest of the country is facing. Same in Geelong. My sinuses are spectacularly not happy, but we are in no real danger. Still putting work into our bug-out bag, because you ought to have one for whatever type of emergency. Currently not speaking to a friend who went sightseeing on Kangaroo Island last week. Bloody idiot. I'm protesting tonight. I have a good mate fighting the fires on Kangaroo Island and I'm worried about him. We are advised to minimize our time spent outdoors and not to do any exercise due to the smoke. I woke up in a panic this morning as I smelt the smoke. Nothing was burning, it's just so thick. This morning it was raining ash and embers on my house and car. I'm incredibly far away from the fire site. The local business are fucked as people are canceling bookings, not entering the fire danger area. It's not good for a lot of people. There's smoke in the sky and I don't know where it's from. It's been like that for months, sometimes clearer, sometimes much worse. And this whole thing has been a great example as to why you don't vote for the LNP. I live near Kangaroo Island. Last night at 12:30 a.m. I was out of water and was extremely hot. Went to leave my room and as soon as I did I got this huge hit of smoke-filled air. Like, after a fire pit has been out for an hour and you get ash smell. I just joined the CFS so I am keen to do my part. But this is crazy since I predicted it'd be bad this year but I didn't think this bad. Where I am the air pollution is just really bad. We have had some false alarms but other than that we're okay. The closet fire to me is probably one of the most damaging one. In North Queensland. So far no issues other than being pissed off with government like everyone else. Been fighting fires on and off for 2 months on farms that I work on. Pretty much prepared for everything to be consumed by the fires but got lucky winds changed at last moment. Been evacuated 3 times as well. Honestly on half of my state at one point had extreme fire and smoke danger while the other side was extreme thunderstorm warning. I'm so confused but also really disappointed at how much the government is doing for them. I also really have so much respect for those whose houses are burned or burning or have been evacuated and those who are volunteering as firefighters. Volunteer firefighters are losing their jobs because they can't work due to fighting fires. Our government aren't compensating them either. They're expecting individual companies to give out paid leave which isn't happening for most people. Our PM doesn't give 2 shits about anyone who's dying or fighting. This country is a fucking joke. One of my best friends lost her home. My town and the surrounding areas all had to be evacuated. Also, a program I was a part of in Canberra had to be cancelled due to air quality. Literally some days you couldn't see more than 100 meters away, and would get a headache or start coughing the second you stepped outside. Even the gas masks provided weren't considered enough to keep us safe, so we had to return home. Still waiting for my school to burn down. Gotta keep your hopes and humor level up. I live in Western Australia and we have been pretty good until yesterday. There's been a massive fire which is now contained, but all the roads around my wedding venue for tomorrow are still closed and we have no idea if or when they will be open for tomorrow. We are currently deciding if we pull the pin and start or organize an emergency wedding at my folks or to wait and see. In the big scheme of things we are very lucky to have our lives and homes, but Jesus Christ, we are fucking stressed. Melbourne air quality was shit for most of the week. The fires are quite a distance away, so no immediate danger. Donated some cash to appropriate charities. TBH, over here a small cyclone just hit me. Also, the fire that's happening at the moment hasn't affected me at all. Because I live far away for the south. Didn't even end up forming into a cyclone, so much for the track maps. Not complaining that we didn't cop the winds though, just drop the rain and leave please. I live around a 3 3.5-hour drive away from the fires in Victoria, and it can be described as this. Imagine the equivalent of the second-hand smoke from a smoker walking less than a meter in front of you everywhere. And that's almost 300 kilometers from the fires themselves. And for anyone in regional NSW or VIC close to the fires, I can't even imagine.